Telus Group this week has merged its two design specialist agencies, Conran Design Group with Paris-based agency W, to consolidate and create the Conran Design Group network. This new network will focus on brand and design services. The global rollout of Conran Design was initiated from India. Around the announcement, the network also marked the release of Conran Design Group's new proprietary study, Citizen Brands, which identifies brands that are achieving balanced growth. The study also found the top 20 citizen brands, those who were able to meet the needs of both individuals and society. As per the report, the top 10 citizen brands in India are Google, Tata, Amazon, Samsung, Microsoft, Tata Motors, Apple, Sony, LG and Paytm. To tell us more about the insights from this report and also about the formation of the new network, we are joined in by Tom Newton, Global CEO, Conran Design Group, and Anez Gimane Mutusami, Strategy Managing Director, W, Conran Design. So this will bring two agencies, design agencies, under one roof, which is of course W and Conran together. And the rollout is happening out of India.
Yes.
Tell us the reason for this rollout to happen out of the country.
Well, I mean, we set up our business here in Mumbai right in the middle of lockdown,
yes,
2021.
That's right.
So everything was virtual.
Yeah.
All of the hiring and the team was put together virtually, and it felt like a sort of risky thing to do at the time. Actually, the momentum and the traction, the interest in design, and the connection to the Conran Design Group brand, we felt straight away here in India. There was a real appetite for design and brand, and a real entrepreneurial spirit, actually, I think, in the region. So it was a very positive experience. We had very good momentum, and it just felt very natural to launch the network here. You know, we're absolutely convinced and, you know, committed to Mumbai and India being one of our key global hubs as we grow. And for us, this was never an exercise about pins in the map. You know, we never intended, and we don't intend to have 60, 70 offices. That's not our model. We want 6 or 7 world-class offerings dotted around the world, and India will be one.
Anez, we have you with us today. Tell us more about, some of the insights from the Citizen Brand Report that you have launched.
So thank you for asking this question. It was important for us to have a piece, a study, something to build upon our capability to address nowadays needs and expectation. And basically what we've done is look at brands in a holistic approach. So we've looked at investors, brand leaders, but at the same time, public opinion in 5 different markets. So India, the US, the UK, France, and Saudi Arabia. And what we wanted to know is what was expected and how could brand leaders grow in a balanced way. And what we found is that brands should act upon a new kind of compass. This compass must address individual needs that we know, betterment, originality, assurance, but at the same time societal needs like inclusion, environmentalism, and contribution to society as large. So it has been really interesting to look into it and to see that actually by being a balanced brand, a citizen brand addressing both society and the individual, what you can deliver is growth, reputational growth by basically addressing and attracting new talents and retaining them, but also bringing new appetite for your products and for your services.
Okay, what apart from, addressing the society and people, do these brands that feature really high up in the Citizen Brand Report have in common, according to you, Anez?
It's quite interesting because there is a lot of things that are asked to the brands. We call it the expectation inflation.
What is that exactly? A very interesting term.
Yeah, actually it's some kind of strange era we are all part of. Like you can feel it. We are asking more and more to leaders. If you look at what regulators are asking, what citizens are asking, what employees are asking, what customers are asking, and also investors, stakeholders, everyone is asking for something. And these expectations are not always in line one with another. So that's why we've coined this word, the expectation inflation era, is that basically it's really difficult to see where you should deliver on the long term as a brand leaders. And actually, when we've asked investors and brand leaders, they were telling us that they were walking a sort of reputational tightrope.
Yes.
They are under a lot of pressure, and basically it was about 94% of them are telling us that they were feeling that they were fearing to be perceived as not doing enough in terms of societal impact. And at the same time, almost 90% of them were saying they were fearing also to be perceived as too woke.
Yeah.
Meaning that it's difficult to handle this kind of pressure. And this is why we needed some kind of new compass to address what is asked.
So how do they do that? How do they balance it out? That's a very interesting thought that you just shared. Like not appearing too woke. At the same time, they need to appear that they're doing something for the society.
It's kind of interesting. What we find is that in the top brands, they mainly deliver, you can see that they all deliver regarding assurance. So they are well-known, trusted brands that bring assurance in a world where trust is really hard and difficult to build. And at the same time, they have their own mark. They have their own set of goals. And so they have their own way to addressing this compass by making most of the time also inclusion a part of their brand building, something really important for them. And this is why we see at the top of the brand index a lot of the consumer tech brands that are well performing in both aspects, inclusion and at the same time assurance.
My final question to both of you is, what are some of the biggest mistakes that brands make while, let's say, creating a brand or like setting up a new or establishing a new brand, or sometimes undergoing a brand revamp for that matter? Let's begin with you, Anis.
Yeah, I would say that obviously you have to have a different product, a different services, and that's already a lot to achieve. But at the same time, more and more, and that's what we see in Citizen Brand, is that you have to have a point of view. You have to have a point of view as a brand regarding society at large, and to make sure that you have a relevant role to play in this society according to your point of view. And maybe once you have this foundation, for me, it's all about delivering it by design.
Also believing in. Tom?
Yeah, I echo Anais' point. I think many organizations sometimes view growth as a zero-sum game. You have to trade one thing for another thing. We would argue that balance, and this the whole purpose of the Citizen Brand study was to think longer term. Think that progress has to carry everyone forward. You don't have to trade off one audience for another or one commercial ambition for more of a societal sense of responsibility. You can use the levers to balance those things, and that will give you longevity, it will connect more profoundly with audiences, and it will set you up for long-term growth. And I think the examples we've seen of businesses in different markets, different regions, failing is because they don't take a long-term view. They don't play the long game. They chase dynamic short-term growth without being prepared and having their brand prepared for the longer term.
Great. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank
for
you very
sharing
much.
insights
Thank you
on
very much.
branding.
Thanks for having us.
It is time for a short break. On the other side, we have Sheena Kapoor, Head Marketing, Corporate Communications and CSR, ICICI Lombard, speaking about their integrated media initiative called Game of Life.